Just a reminder that these videos are made for adult doll collectors or adults buying dolls for others. This is not a video for children. Viewer discretion is advised. Thank you very much for listening. Hello Internet! My name is Kelsey and welcome back to my closet. What an ordeal it has been trying to get this video off the ground. If you want to skip ahead to the main part of the video, I have timestamps, I usually always do. So you can skip ahead to the doll review part of this, but I gotta tell this story because it's just like, oh, unbelievable. Okay, so some of you may know that last summer my camcorder that I was using, the charging wire broke, and so I could no longer plug the camera in. I was recording on my phone for a while. My phone started to have this issue of overheating. That, and I never liked the fact that I couldn't use a viewfinder. I had to use my laptop as the viewfinder or pop-out screen or whatever. So I was like, I gotta get a camcorder. And I found on Mercari a camcorder that was pretty much like a few generations later of the camcorder that I had. Well, first I bought a really cheap one from Walmart and that was a mistake because it was terrible. After that is when I decided I'm gonna get just an upgraded version of the one that I used to have. It was a Canon small little camcorder, right? So I found one on Mercari. Decent price, it was used, but not like beaten up or anything. And the seller had 5 stars. So I was like, great, this will be fine. So I want to tell you right now, this is a cautionary tale, so keep in mind if you ever shop on Mercari. I placed the order, and Mercari gives the seller 3 days from the order being placed to ship the item, meaning it's label on in the box, in the whatever, UPS, post office, wherever. So the 3 days go by, and if the seller hasn't done anything, Mercari will send a reminder to the seller, and they will also let you, the buyer, know, hey, we sent a reminder to the seller about this. They sent me that email. Like an hour later, all of a sudden, the item was shipped. And this is where we get into the annoying part. So I'm waiting a couple days. You know, I usually don't check the tracking for a couple days because I know it's going to take a little bit. And it says that USPS still has not received the item. So I'm like, okay. So this guy said it was shipped, but probably it's still at his house and he hasn't actually dropped it off yet. Sent a message to Mercari. I said, hey, this guy said it was shipped, but it looks like it hasn't moved yet, that it hasn't even been dropped off. Can you do something about this? And they said, well, the seller said it was shipped, so it can take a couple days for the post office to scan and update. Sometimes they forget to scan it or whatever. All right, fine. Meanwhile, on my screen, on the order, it said that I could cancel it on January 18th. So I'm waiting another couple days and still no movement. So I messaged them again and I said, hey, I think this guy lied about having shipped it. You know, just because he clicked the button doesn't mean he actually dropped it off. So is there anything that you can do for me? And again, they come back with no, because the seller said it was shipped, so that means it's on its way. And sometimes it takes the post office, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, so I'm dealing with robots. On January 18th, when I still hadn't heard anything, I'm like, all right, I want to cancel this because obviously I'm not getting this camera. And they said, oh, actually, you can't cancel till January 26th. And I'm like, but it says right here. I took a screenshot of my phone and I said, look, it says January 18th. You can cancel if it hasn't been like received. So cancel it. And they said no. They said you have to wait 14 days from the date that you purchased the item. No exceptions. Even though they told me a completely different date and I had it proof in writing. So at this point I finally did message the seller and I said, hey, listen, if there was some kind of issue, can you tell me? Like, why hasn't this happened? No response. So the next day I said, well, I guess you're ghosting me and you either have no intention of sending this item or whatever, but you are not gonna get your money. So whatever scam you're trying to run here is not going to work because Mercari, on the plus side, does not let a seller have the money until the buyer has confirmed they opened it and they accept it, that it was the correct item in the condition that was promised. Then they release the funds to the seller. So I was like, the second that I am able to cancel this order, I am canceling it. And thanks a lot for nothing. And then I go back again to Mercari support and I say, look, this guy is ghosting me. You are not doing anything to help me. I understand you have a policy, but in this case, do you not agree that there's likely no possibility that the camera has been dropped off at the post office? Because I highly doubt that no one on the route throughout the post office has not scanned this thing the whole like week and a half that it's been out. And they said there was still nothing that they could do about it. So Mercari support was absolute shit, first of all. Second of all, this was when I went into the seller's profile because I was like, he has 5 stars. How did he get 5 stars for selling things when this is the kind of crap that he's pulling? And that's when I saw that there is a list of sellers that cancel. So there's all the 5-star reviews of the items that were sold and received. And then there's a bunch that said, this seller canceled, so there's no review. This seller canceled, so there's no review. And a lot of them, not just a couple, it was a lot. More than there were regular reviews. I finally was able to cancel on January 26th, got my money back, left a scathing review of Mercari support, and the moral of the story is, just because a seller has 5 stars on Mercari does not mean that they actually sold and shipped all their items. So I'm thinking either this guy, he was just trying to get the money and not sell the item, or he died, or something. I hate to say that, but like, I don't understand why, you know, he pressed the ship button, meaning that he got the notification at some point that the item was bought and he was supposed to ship it, and then he just vanished. So I don't know what he thought he was gonna get, because Mercari doesn't let you take the money until the item is confirmed received. But I learned that if I ever shop on there again, which I'm kind of like wary about now because of the support team not helping, always check to see if there have been like several billion cancellations on a seller's thing. I didn't realize either that if they cancel that it still comes up that an item was sold but that they didn't leave a review. That's the only way I realized that this guy has a habit of doing this. That's the moral of my story here. I did finally get the camcorder that I wanted on eBay, and that's what I'm using now. So things might look slightly different from the last couple of videos that I was using my phone with. I also, I just had to run to Walmart like 10 minutes ago because I had an SD card for this, you know, for something else. I don't remember. I've had it forever. I tried to use it in the camera and it didn't want to use it. So not sure why not, but I had to go and run and get an SD card. So finally, here we are making a video on the new camcorder. Oh my god. Long story, very long. Just be cautious when you're buying on secondhand websites. Okay, so now into the actual video. And if you did listen to my story, thank you so much. If not, welcome to the meat and potatoes of the video. You may know it is the 75th anniversary this year of Cinderella, Disney's Cinderella, the animated one, the original, the much better one. And therefore, they have released all kinds of cool Cinderella merch in the Disney Store website, including this brand new 17-inch limited edition Cinderella doll. She was $149.99, which is the standard LE price for a 17-inch Disney doll, and you do get free shipping over $75. Now, the Disney website support was great because here's another shorter, much shorter story. So I had seen pictures of her for like a week that I wasn't as into, and I was like, she's really pretty, but like, do I really like her? And then when her actual stock pictures came out, I was like, oh, okay, I see now what you're talking about. Okay, I want to get her. And I get on the Disney Store website, and I was looking at her, and she was in stock, and then I clicked to put her in the bag, and then she was out of stock. And I'm like, damn, I can't believe I missed it that quickly. It had only been out for like an hour. But then she came back in stock again, and I was so frantic that I didn't add in the free shipping promo code, because instead of just automatically applying it, they have a promo code for free shipping. So I emailed Disney Store support, and they kindly refunded me on the shipping that I had paid with no hassle. That was really nice. So thank you, Disney Store support. So yes, and she came like within 2 days. So excited. She's beautiful. I'm so glad that I did manage to get her because she is now out of stock. And the reason that people really wanted her is because she has a movie accurate dress. Not perfectly movie accurate because there was no embroidery or crystals on the dress in the movie, but it's silver, which is the actual color of Cinderella's dress in the animated movie. They use the blue in the dolls and like artwork and stuff because I don't know. I guess it looks less like a wedding dress. This doll actually has a silver dress. So silver and white, and there's like a very pale hint of blue in the bodice area. And you know, I mean, there's a lot of blue and silver elements in the movie too. That's the color scheme that they have on the box as well, which is beautiful. I love the box. I love even just this 75th emblem here on the side. It's tied in a back with the ribbon. And it's got a ribbon handle and all of the silver foil elements. It reminds me so much of Disney World and my favorite Disney World parade that they ever did that they don't do anymore. Haven't done for years, but Spectral Magic. Oh, loved that parade. It was so pretty. Silver, blue, like pale blue and white, like it reminds me so much of Disney World. And that's why I really love Cinderella's aesthetic, even though Cinderella is not like one of my favorite movies. And I've always kind of been like, I really want to get a special Cinderella of some kind, and I thought it was going to be Midnight Masquerade, who I've been looking at on and off on eBay, but then she came along and I was like, she's the one. Oh man, I've been doing a lot of talking. We haven't even looked at her yet at all. There she is. She is very, very pretty. I've never been like desperately in love with the Cinderella face from the Disney Store dolls. Like Ariel's always gonna top Cinderella's face in a doll form, but she still has a very pretty face. And this dress is just absolutely stunning. So pretty. And I love the background with the night sky and the sparkles. Very magical. I mean, she is the quintessential Disney princess. I mean, she's like the first one that a lot of people have come to their mind when you say Disney princess, especially if you go to Disney World where it's Cinderella's castle in Magic Kingdom. So yeah, she really embodies just Disney in general for me, which is why I really wanted to get a special Cinderella. So on the back here, it says Cinderella 75th in the silver foil. And on here on the paragraph, Disney is proud to present this limited edition Cinderella doll in celebration of the animated feature's 75th anniversary. A night of dazzling magic awaits the soon-to-be princess as she's whisked away to a royal ball for a night of enchantment. Will she make it home before the clock strikes 12? Revel in this bibbidi-bobbidi beautiful fairy tale with this limited edition keepsake for fans and collectors alike. And then at the bottom, there is a picture of her glass slipper on a pillow. All right, let us finally open her. Oh, look at that. There was little picture of her pumpkin carriage in the background behind her. And see, now if you don't open her, you would never know that was there. And I love the 17-inch dolls. I don't know, there's something so nice about holding a bigger doll like this. But Cindy is free, and there's a couple of annoying plastic ties pulling on her material. I mean, I know they do that because they figure you're supposed to keep these dolls in the box and not be playing with the plastic ties or anything. But how much more difficult would it be to use thread? You're already making the dress out of fabric and thread, so you obviously have thread on hand. But anyway, here she is. She's a lot lighter than I thought. Let us look at her from top to bottom. Again, she's very movie accurate here. Also, I would like to say that if, and that is a huge if, because at this point I'm thinking it's like totally impossible, if I ever did get married, this would be the kind of dress that I want. Something very, very similar to this, or the dress that Princess Mia wears in the final scene of Princess Diaries 1, because I've always loved that dress. I want a ball gown. I really do. Now we'll look at her. So here is her face, and like I said, I've never been like super one way or the other, I guess, about the Cinderella face. I think it's because too, it's hard to get that face quite right with the movie accuracy because it's in the much older style of Disney animation. So like the Renaissance era ones, they always look really good, but the classic Disney faces are a little bit more like modernized to the Renaissance era, so they don't always look exactly like the character. But this is a pretty face mold. I mean, She looks very sweet. You know, it's not a bad face in general. It's just Ariel's always gonna have the #1 spot to me. So she has blue eyes. She has some silvery eyeshadow with a brown line in the crease of her eyelid, rooted eyelashes, brownish eyebrows. They're, I guess, more on the order of strawberry blonde, which is another reason why a lot of people wanted this particular Cinderella, because her hair is strawberry blonde instead of like platinum blonde, which, I mean, that's what they mentioned on youloveit.com when they first showed pictures of her. Yes, she has her strawberry blonde eyebrows and some red lips with a little teeth showing, some blushing, and the strawberry blonde hair, which is done up in a little bun. It's actually like a ponytail, and then they just curled the ends of the ponytail to look like a bun, but it's not an actual bun because you can move the pieces and see the ponytail underneath. I don't want to do too much because it's styled and gelled there. It looks good. Even though it's gelled, it doesn't look crunchy or anything. And then she's got the big poofy bang that's also curled on one side. And she has a ribbon headband in a very, very pale blue. Now this is not silver, just like the bodice isn't like silver, but it's very close. It's like a silver that's been tinted with periwinkle. And this does Velcro at the back of the head, but it's also tied onto her head on either side. I wouldn't want to remove this because I wouldn't want to remove the ties either, because I don't think it would sit the same way again if you were to take it off. And I'm glad that it's this and not like a plastic version of the headband. I would much rather have the ribbon. She has these really pretty dangly earrings that they do move a little bit. They have clear gem studs and then some silver jewels in a little chain. And it's the same on both sides. And I believe they are removable. Oh, maybe not. I got it out a little bit, but it's not coming any further, so not removable. Never mind. And then she has a velvet ribbon choker that it's not a true choker because it's actually just a string of velvet ribbon that they tied into a bow, and it goes down her back. But I kind of like this, like from the back, just the little pop of black back here. I like the contrast. But then from the front, it just looks like her regular choker from the movie. And then we get to the main part of this doll, this gorgeous ball gown. Ugh. We never get dolls in ball gowns. Like, Cinderella is the only one where it's like, well, we really have to do a ball gown because that's her dress, but they just don't want to do it very often, do they? And man, this is so pretty. So pretty. All right, so at the top, the bodice, like I said, this is a silvery blue. It's periwinkle, even paler than periwinkle, with rhinestones covering it all the way from the neckline to the waist. Super sparkly. There's also some silver embroidery up at the neckline, which is easy to miss because it blends in with the crystals, but just a little extra embellishment there. And there's also a modesty panel. So you can also see at the front that it's folded over, and I believe they did that so that you can't see the inside of the fabric, but it also leaves no hemming or seams up here, which is a prettier finish than if they just had like stitching going up here. So I like that. I appreciate that in the construction. You can also see that it's kind of supposed to look like it's wrapped rather than just being a solid bodice. And there are darts there as well to give it better shape. It comes to a point at the bottom, and it is a separate piece from the skirt. And attached to the bodice are these sleeves. We have little cap sleeves. They're kind of layered. And then under that, we have sheer mesh of some kind, making a long sleeve that also has a shimmer to it. And at the end, we have the same gems as her earrings are made of, lining the wrists, which kind of gives the illusion of bracelets, even though they are attached to the sleeves. And I guess that's my complaint on the accuracy side of things, is while the dress is the right color, she wears gloves, like opera gloves, and I would have loved to see the opera gloves. These are pretty, and I like the touch that they did here with the faux bracelets, but I would have liked the gloves a little bit more. But these are still okay. Not a terrible creative liberty, I guess we'll call it. So that is the top part of the dress, and like I said, it's separate from the skirt. And just for curiosity's sake, oh, so you attach the bodice and the skirt with little things of thread, but not the other parts. I'll just show you in the back here. This is what the waistband of the skirt looks like. It's just a regular circle waistband. She actually has a swivel waist. I didn't know that. But it is a silvery blue satin to match the bodice. That's just the waistband of the skirt. And then for the rest of the skirt, oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, a gorgeous, voluminous ball gown covered with silver embroidery and rhinestones. Let's just enjoy the designs on the skirt. We have little sparkles and swirls. It's supposed to be reminiscent of the fairy godmother's spell that actually creates the dress. So the magic swirling around her and covering her in sparkles and changing her rags into this beautiful gown. Yes, and I love that they used a silvery embroidery thread to achieve this. I love the dotting of the rhinestones. They're not super clustered together looking gaudy. They just add a little bit of shimmer here and there. Now, my one complaint here would be that the embroidery stops at the back, which I'm a little surprised about because most of the other LE dolls that I've gotten, I mean, I don't have too many. I don't know, 4 altogether. The design does not stop at the back, even though you wouldn't normally see the back. So yeah, I'm a little surprised that they didn't continue it all the way around with the embroidery. Since I will be displaying her facing forward, I won't really notice it in the future. But she was 150 bucks. So give me all my embroidery here. But anyway, she doesn't have any tissue paper or anything under the skirt, and yet it's still super puffy, and I don't think it's going to lose its puffiness over time because of how many layers of fabric there are in this dress. So the top layer with the embroidery and the rhinestones opens up in the middle here, and it is tacked onto the second layer, but it is a fully separate layer of skirt, and it opens in the front so that you can see the underlayers. So this layer is, I don't know what this would be. It's not quite tulle, but it's similar to tulle. It's the same material, I think, as the sleeves, which is a sheer mesh. Under that, we have a silvery satin, and then under that, we have a mesh petticoat, which helps to keep the skirt nice and full looking. And all of the layers do continue all the way around. So here's our mesh, the satin, and the petticoat. And then we get to her painted little undies. So yes, this is a gorgeous ball gown, and as I said, definitely wedding dress inspiration for me. Love that it is big and poofy. I don't know where I'm gonna find a place to display her where I'm gonna be able to see all that poofiness in all its glory, but I'll have to figure it out. I just rearranged the shelf that the Disney dolls are on to make room for the Ariels, and now I gotta find room for Cinderella too, because I wasn't certain of getting her in the beginning. And the rhinestones I didn't really mention before, but they're not quite just silver. They do have a little bit of hollow coloring in them, so that's nice. A nice way to add little pops here and there of interest. And then of course, because she's all about the shoes, we have her glass slippers, which are just clear plastic, but they made them clear. I think other Cinderella dolls in the past have had just solid blue or silver or whatever else might go with the design, but since this is supposed to be accurate to the classic character. We have clear heels, but they do also have a little bit of a holographic color to them, similar to the rhinestones. Like, you can see a little bit of like pink reflecting in there and green, and the mold makes them look faceted, how cut glass would be. There's also a little faceted heart at the toes, and you can see her feet through it. I love that they made the shoes glass looking. Really gorgeous. I am glad that I wound up getting her in the end because this is Cinderella. I mean, most of the limited edition Cinderellas that they have done up to now have not been as enticing as this one. So I'm glad that I went for this one in the end. I'm glad that they finally made one like this that is more accurate to her movie colors, and a 17-inch one, because I really love the limited edition 17 inches, and just a really pretty design. You know, it's not super elaborate, but it's true to Cinderella. Now, was she worth $150? I'm kind of looking out at Jasmine, who is the less fancy version of the D23 Jasmine from a few years ago. She had a lot more, like, she had metal jewelry and stuff, and a lot more embroidery. Like, her embroidery went all the way around. So I don't know, she was a little more worth it than Cinderella, I think. If the embroidery in here went all the way around, I would have felt a little bit better, but I don't know why they didn't continue it all the way to the back. But otherwise, yeah, you know, it's Disney can set whatever price they want. That's the problem because it's Disney and people will pay it. And she was more limited than some other LE dolls that they've run, so I guess you're paying for that too. I don't regret spending the money to get her. I'm glad I was able to get her at retail rather than having to buy her secondhand, but yeah, a little bit overpriced on this one, but I still like her a lot. She is very pretty, and I'm glad I finally got a Cinderella that I really like to add to my collection. And then of course, she, like I said, comes with a saddle stand, which is just clear at the base, and she was packaged already on it, so that makes it easy for me. And her certificate of authenticity, which is still in the plastic. It's similar in style to the box. It's actually written in French on the back. Which, isn't Cinderella supposed to take place in France? Or is that Germany? I don't remember. The front part says, "This limited edition doll, released in 2025, has been carefully designed by Disney artists to ensure every detail was captured. This collectible doll is sure to be a treasured keepsake for many years to come." So, that was it. That was everything that she came with. That was Cinderella, the 75th anniversary, 17-inch, Disney Store limited edition doll. I think she is really pretty, if a bit overpriced, but definitely the most movie accurate, and definitely for a Cinderella fan or somebody who just loves the aesthetic of Cinderella and Disney World in general, a good buy. Definitely a good buy. But you guys let me know what you think. What do you think of Cinderella the movie? Did you ever see the live action one? Because I did, and I was like, this is lame. Do you have any of the other previous limited edition Cinderellas? I have said limited edition so many times now, the words feel like they don't mean anything anymore. So I'm gonna go now, and as always, thanks so much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends, and until next time, a dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep.